This is Coach T from TackleTrading.com, just back with another market update. It is Wednesday, November 11th, 2015. Happy Veterans Day out there to all of you who have served, and we do appreciate your service. Let's start with the Trade Center here, and this is the tool in Tackle Trading that you can kind of do all of your daily routine on. It's under Tools. It says Trade Center. It's got a lot of the other tools in bed right here. You'll notice that world markets were pretty flat around the globe from the last session in Asia all the way through Europe to now here in the States. Shanghai up, the DAX, the FTSE. Europe was mostly up just a little bit, and then the S&P 500 was down just a hair. Let's go to the heat map and start right there. You'll see mixed activity. Google and Facebook had some pretty good days. Amazon also been roaring. The stock has just been on a tear lately. Had a real nice day. Energy sector was down. We'll get to crude oil here in just a minute. Let's go to the futures market. Notice a 5-minute chart on the S&P 500. We opened up the day with some selling, rallied back mid-morning, sold and closed towards the low of the session. Let's back that out to a daily chart. Another just red candle as it's coming back into a bull zone here, into a moving average zone right there on the S&P 500. Let's go to the volatility index. This measures option pricing. VIX at 16 represents fairly average option prices for the year. A far cry from where they were in August and September, by the way. And sitting down here at a low for the year. It's a good time to be looking at portfolio insurance, especially if you do hold equity or 401k or something like that. We've done some had some discussions on that recently in the coaches show, as well as over time. Something to think about if you are looking to insure your portfolio from a long-term perspective. Let's take a look at energy. One of the big stories for me today was the energy space just getting beaten up, and crude oil is down again. We watch crude oil quite often in the commodity report, sitting right at support right now. And it's been range bound for a while. And what's interesting is you're seeing that selling. Wednesdays are always the big day for crude oil, many big days for crude oil, I should say, because of the data that comes out of the market. And we had inventories data come out, and the market dropped a buck, 2.5%. And that's normal volatility for crude oil. We'll talk more about this in the commodity report that should be coming out here in about an hour or so. But I'm cautious with crude oil. And if you get confirmation candles tomorrow or Friday below support, you have to turn bearish on it as well. Let's take a look at the currency market. Actually, back to metals. Go through gold first. 5 products I look at every day. Gold has been aggressively bearish, now sitting on long-term support. The bears are in control there. There's no question about it. Sellers have control of the tape, and I'd be surprised to see this support hold completely without at least a test of a potential breakout to see what happens underneath support. So it's going to be interesting. And then the currency market. The U.S. dollar is the big one, and it's hitting its head up at 100. Be cautious here. I think that is one of those areas that you have to identify and say, okay, yes, it's been in a really good rally, but now it might slow down. Now, with the dollar hitting its head, this one was what really grabbed my attention from a news standpoint this morning, because there was news out of Europe that the European Central Bank, the ECB, is looking at extending their program of printing euros, their version of quantitative easing. It's called the Asset Purchasing Program. Well, with that in play, you would expect the euro to keep selling, and it didn't. It's trying to find support here at 107. If the dollar hits its head and comes back, you might get a little relief rally out of crude and gold. So from a trading standpoint, it might be a wait and see. From a structural trend standpoint, gold is still bearish. The dollar is now turning short-term bullish, and you have to respect that. Upcoming, events in the market. Let's go to the Forex calendar here. For the rest of the week, you have a testimony from Fed Chair Yellen tomorrow morning, core retail sales and PPI on Friday, and then a University of Michigan consumer sentiment report that comes out on Friday as well. This is data that the Fed watches. These are red impact events. They're not the highest level of importance for the events. That's usually an FOMC statement or a policy or something like that, unemployment numbers. But these are events that matter because this is data that the Fed does take action on. So it should be interesting end of the week. Thursday and Friday might get a little bit more volatility than you saw on this Wednesday. Okay, Coach T from TackleTrading.com. As always, you can find what we've been doing recently under the menu once you're logged in. Go to recent post. We've got that slider bar back. You can kind of shift through and see what's going on from the market. And then if you look down here, it will show you all of the recent, like the podcast or the coaches show replay, the Forex report, so on and so forth. Get in the game.
Get off the sidelines and take control of your financial future at www.tackletrading.com. Get in the game.